87.9
WBTM FM,
Indianapolis.
WBTM FM.
All right, folks. It's 6 o'clock here at 87.9 WBTM FM, the bottom. And that means only one thing. Fat Man's Fandango. Yes, Fat Man's Fandango right here for March the 10th, 2017. This is episode 5. Poppa Stompa with you here on 87.9, getting ready to throw down 2 solid hours of the soulful, sultry sounds of Jerry Garcia's solo catalog. And boy, do we got some stuff for you here tonight, let me tell you. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and talk too much about it. Although they say this next bot is a Legions of Mary tune from March 2nd, 1975 at the Keystone in Berkeley, California. This was, according to Oakland paper, the first show they ever were referred to as Legions of Mary. Yes, Legions of Mary, the legendary Legions of Mary. Jerry Garcia, Merle Saunders, John Kahn, the Meester, Martine Fierro, and the Rolls Royce of drummers, Mr. Ronnie Tutt. Quite a powerful band, as you will hear in the next coming months here as we roll into anniversaries of a lot of Legions of Mary. So we're going to start off our Legions of Mary review for the next couple of weeks here with a cut from the first show. This is from March 2nd, 1975 at the Keystone in Berkeley. The old Junior Walker nugget, written by Lamont Dozier and his brother and the brothers Edward and Brian Holland. Their tune, I'm a Roadrunner Baby. So here you go, Legions of Mary, Roadrunner, right here for you, only on Fat Man's Fandango, 87.9 WBTM, the bottom. Buckle in, kids.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you all later on.
Oh, yeah, there we go, folks. Whew. That was a hum-diddly-inger. Man, my foot was thumping like a horny rabbit the whole way through that sucker. I hope y'all enjoyed that as much as I do. That is why, in my book, Leading to Mary takes the cake. I mean, as you will hear in the next couple of weeks, whew, they are truly the embodiment of the quote, a band that could turn goat piss into gasoline, if ever there was one. Well, we're going to trip on over into something else Jerry did a little bit later down the line. It's very different. A lot of you probably will never have heard this before, but we would be remiss if we did not cover every and all aspects and facets of Jerry Garcia's solo catalog. So we're going to do something for you here. This band from 79 that Jerry put together called Reconstruction. Yes, Reconstruction was a 6-piece with horns. He hooked up with Merle Saunders again after, about a year, actually 3 years off playing with the Jerry Garcia band. And he had his old trusty co-pilot John Kahn on the bass there too. They brought in a jazz trombone player named Ed Neumeister and a tenor saxophonist named Ron Stallings and Gaylord Birch on the drums. And did something that was very unusual for Jerry. Very loungy, kind of disco-y. It was like porn jazz before anybody even knew what porn jazz was all about. And it's definitely a different take. But if you are a music fan as I am, there is something to be gotten out of it for sure. So get your disco pants on and your high heel shoes, and we're going to do something a little bit out of the ordinary here for most of you. This is Reconstruction from the Cabaret Colati in Colati, California, February the 9th, 1979. This is going to be fun. Hope you folks enjoy. Poppa Stompa with you here on Fat Man's Fandango, only on 87.9 WBTM, The Bottom.
We'll see if we can take it to the star.
such a lovely night for dancing. I get this feeling from a love song. Love, twilight of the sky. And I'm feeling that the music really turns me on. music really turns me on. Love, sunset to the blue sky. And I feel like dancing all night long. Get up and dance with me now. Get up and dance with me. Won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me now. Get up and dance with me. Won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me. Wow. Get up and dance with me. Won't you dance with me? Everybody dance up with me now. Get up and dance with me now. Won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me. Wow. Get up and dance with me now. Won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me. Well, get up and dance with me. Won't you dance? Everybody, clap your hands. Get up and dance. Get up and dance. Clap your hands. Dance with me. Everybody, clap your hands. Get up and dance. Say what? Dance with me now. Won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me now. Get up and dance. Get up and dance with me. Won't you dance with me? Sweet, fine, lovely thing. Get up and dance. Get up and dance. Say you, won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me. Wow. Get up and dance. Get up and dance. Everybody, won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me. Get up and dance. Get up and dance with me. Won't you dance with me? Get up and dance with me now. Get up and dance. Lovely night for dancing. This is Reconstruction. Reconstruction.
Excuse
We'd like
me,
to do another
friends.
song. Pardon us.
Don't want to blow no trips, but across the streets, the volunteer fire department area, half the parking's for them, half of it's for the public. The police said if we can get the cars out that are on the left, nobody's got to get towed. And that way, if there's a fire, volunteer firemen can help people a little easier. Thank you.
Yes, yes, that's right. If your car is in front of the fire station, if you can remember that, move it. So we can continue with the music. It's about the music, you see. Yes. Just start with the bass drum by clapping your hands together. Right there. Yeah. Right there. Very good. Yeah. You might as well clap. You're in here now. We have a song that goes like this, y'all. 1, 2, 3.
Garcia, Ron Stallings, Ed Newmeister, Merle Saunders, and Gaylord Burks. Reconstruction.
WBTM FM.
Indianapolis.
All right, folks. Woo! That's some meaty hornified jams there. Let me tell you. I like that. That was really good. I hope you enjoyed that. So right there, you just had a nice heaping hunk of February 9th, 1979 at the Cabaret Colati in Colati, California. Reconstruction. Doing Another Star. Lovely Night for Dancing with Merle Saunders leading the way on the vocals. Yeah, Merle. And finishing off with a tune called Nessa. Okay, we're going to plow on into some more music because, I don't like to talk too much about. I like to give it. And this today, I'm jam-packed. I'm like 2 hours solid. So I got to go a little over just so I can talk a little bit. This next bit we got here, this is from a pretty honkin' 82 show at the Saddle Rack in San Jose, California. This right here, this is March 7th, 1982. And this is a nice little bit here. We're going to get a Valerie, a Sugary, and a Valerie, and then a Second That Emotion to a Tangled Up in Blue. And the Valerie, I haven't played a Valerie yet. That's off Run for the Roses, another Garcia Hunter nugget from 1980 that doesn't get played too much. So we're going to rock out an Electric Valerie here, along with the other tunes. So, Poppa Stompa with you here, 87.9 WBTM FM, Indianapolis Radio, the bottom. I hope you are enjoying as much as I am enjoying playing it for you. I just love doing this. The other day I got this big idea in my head, listening to Jerry over the radio, and I was just like, you know what, man, I'm playing this, and this stuff's shooting out into the universe, and it just keeps on going, man. Our radio waves just keep on trucking and keep on trucking and keep on trucking. Somewhere in the next, who knows how many million years on some other planet, some poor soul might actually get to hear this fat music coming out of the sky from some lost civilization halfway across the universe. And it gives me pause. Whew. Okay, here we go, folks. Some rockin' Jerry Garcia Band from March 7th, 1982 at the Saddle Rack in San Jose, California. Here we go. Sugary, only on the bottom.
you was the cool fool. Never could do no wrong. You had everything sewn up tight. How come you lay awake all night long? Just one thing I ask of you. Just one thing for me. Please forget you knew my name, my darling Sugaree. Shake it, Sugaree. Just don't tell her you know me. Valerie, what's your complaint? I try to be everything I ain't. Valerie, won't you be good to me? I ain't afraid of the cold, cruel world outside. No chicken little running from a falling sky. The only thing troubles me is you. If you leave me, what will I do? Valerie, won't you be good to me? Valerie, won't you be good to me? Valerie, won't you be good to me? Maybe you'd like to give me kisses sweet, only for one night with no repeat. Maybe you'll go away and never call. Then a taste of her is worse than none of her. Oh, girl, in that case, I don't want no part. That would only break my heart. Well, if you feel like loving me, if you got the door shut, that much if her hair was still red. Parents said our life together sure was gonna be rough. They never did like Mama's homemade dress, Papa's baked good was big enough. I'm sitting on the side of the road, rain pouring on my shoes. Heading out for the East Coast, God knows I've paid some dues. Getting through. Angels up and blues. She was married with Hooper's family, soon to be divorced. I helped her out of a jail, my guess, but I used her too much force. Drove that car as far as we could, abandoned it out west. Separated on the docks that night for the green was best. She turned around and called to me as I was walking away. I heard her say over my shoulder, we can meet again someday on the avenue. Angels up and blue. I went out to the great north woods, working as quick for a spell. I never did like it all that much. One day the axe just fell. I headed down to New Orleans where I was lucky to be employed, working for a while on a fishing boat right outside of Delacroix. All the while I was alone, the past was close behind. I know a lot of women, but she never escaped my mind. I just grew. Angels up and blue. something inside of her died. She had to sell everything she owned and froze some inside. Later on, when the bottom fell out, I became withdrawn. The only thing I know how to do is to keep on keeping on like a bird that flew, tangled up in blue. Now I'm going back again. I gotta get back to her somehow. All the people that we used to know, they're an illusion to me now. Some are mathematicians, some are carpenters' wives. Don't know how it all got started, I don't know what they're doing with their lives. Me, I'm still on the road, headed for another joint. We always did feel the same, we just saw it from a different point of view. Tangled up in blue, tangled up in blue, tangled up in blue. take a break for a little while. We'll be back in a few minutes.
How'd you like that one, folks? Woo! That was fun. Jerry Garcia Band live from March 7th, 1982 at the Saddle Rack in San Jose, California. That one's for our friend Janet listening out there on the internet. She's from San Jose, so I'm sure she'll like that one. That was Sugar Ray, Valerie, Second That Emotion into Tangled Up in Blue. Second That Emotion, the good old Smokey Robinson, the Miracles nugget that Jerry liked to play a lot. And, of course, his usual punctuation, exclamation point at the end of all sets that are rocking, or just all sets in general, is Bob Dylan nugget, Tangled Up in Blue. We started off there with a pretty smoking Sugary. Excuse me. A little Hunter Garcia nugget off of Jerry's original solo album, Garcia. That was a pretty smoking set. I enjoyed that a lot. Pretty popular. A lot of people I know, oh, that's one of the first tapes I got. I wore that sucker out like crazy. So it's pretty popular. It's a good one. We're going to continue on with some more good ones. Right now, we're gonna truck on into something a little newer. We're gonna do a little bit more gospel-y, but this isn't really gospel-y because it's mostly boogie woogie rock and roll. We're gonna do a little bit off of November 9th, 1991, Hampton Roads Coliseum. This was a pure Jerry release, and it's a smoking show. It was a smoking tape before it was ever released. Bruce Hornsby, sitting in on this one. Pretty dang good. It's going to be a Van Morrison, a Sir Van Morrison nugget, followed by a Chuck Berry chestnut, ended and wrapped it all up with a Hunter Garcia bow to tie it all together at the end. So here we go. Jerry Garcia Band, live, November the 9th, 1991, Hampton Roads Coliseum. He Ain't Give You None. Right here, only on The Bottom.
your daddy's ever done. Give my heart and soul for you, baby. He ain't give you none. I'm gonna go down, 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 down on Broadway Street. Don't you ever go down, 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 down on Broadway Street. Nothing but heartache and trouble there, baby. For the kind of guy you bound to meet. I done more for you than your daddy's ever done. I done more for you than your daddy's ever done, ever done. Give my life for you, baby. No, he ain't give you none. your daddy's ever done. Give my heart and my soul to you, baby. He ain't give you none. daddy's ever done. I done more for you, than your daddy's ever done. I done more for you than your daddy's ever done, ever done. I give my life for I'd like to thank Bruce Hornsby for sitting in. Sooner it closes. Man, oh man, oh
Doggy, I love that. I love that show, man. Jerry Garcia Band live November 9th, 1991, the Hampton Roads Coliseum, the Mothership, way down there, Virginia way. That was pretty meaty. I love that. It was one of my favorites even way before they made an official release. You had to start off there with a He Ain't Give You None, some effervescent Irish soul, straight from the man himself, Sir Ivan Morrison, Van the Man to You and Me. Then we followed it up with the old Chuck Berry nugget, C'est La Vie, the lovely ode to young matrimony. And we finished it all up there with a ode to impermanence and a good old tune, Positivity, Run for the Roses off of Jerry Garcia Band's 1980 album, Run for the Roses. Love that tune too. Well, it's about that time for us to sign off here at Fat Man's Fandango, right here on 87.9 WBTM FM, The Bottom. Poppa Stompa, riding out with you across the airwaves, all across the universe. Hope you've been enjoying it as much as I enjoy bringing it to you. I always say that because I'm always enjoying bringing fat, beautiful, soulful salve for your consciousness. That is the Jerry Garcia solo catalog. We had a good night. We were all over the place. A little bit of Legion of Mary, some Reconstruction, some Jerry Garcia Band. But I'm going to leave you with one more tune because, as you know, I'll always like to leave you with that little, like that little secret track at the end of the album if you listen long enough. A little hidden track. I love those. So here's tonight's hidden track. This was recorded for the movie soundtrack for Smoke back in 1995, one of the last things Jerry ever recorded. This was recorded for the soundtrack, in which he also recorded Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, but unfortunately this song did not make the movie, but it did make the soundtrack. It is Jerry's only Otis Redding cover he ever did outside of the Grateful Dead. Of course, he played, guitar on Hard to Handle with the Grateful Dead. But this is the only time Jerry ever covered Otis Redding in his solo career. And if any of you know Poppa Stompa, you know there are two men in my life. One is Jerry and the other is the Big O, Otis Redding. I love me some Otis Redding like nothing. If it wasn't for Otis Redding, I wouldn't even know what soul was. So we're going to roll into this, the last tune of the night. This is a tune that came off of Otis Redding's super famous Platter, the Soul album. Here you go, folks. The last tune of the day. Poppa Stompa signing off on the Fat Man's Fandango here with you on 87.9 WBTM, The Bottom. We'll be back next week with a whole mess of good stuff. March of 78, it's a good time. We might play quite a heaping hunk of the Warner Theater 78 for you, I can guarantee. Thank you. Muchos Garcias for listening. Keep on keeping on. Enjoy. Cigarettes and Coffee. The Jerry Garcia Band. Only here on Fat Man's Fandango. And only on The Bottom.
About 2:45. Now I'm sitting here talking with my baby on cigarettes, coffee. To tell you I don't feel so satisfied, honey, since I met you. Baby, since I met you. All the ladies that I've been around, seem to fit in. Not in this particular time, but it seems so natural, darling, that you and I are here, just talking over cigarettes and drinking coffee. Take me under consideration. Walk down this aisle with me. Oh, I would love it. I would just love it, darling. I say it's so early in the morning. Coffee. Oh, drinking coffee. I'd like to show you. Why don't nothing good, old boy. Since I met you, darling, honey, since I met you, baby, I'd love to have another drink of coffee, have another drink of coffee, have another drink of coffee. Please, darling, help me smoke. Please help me smoke. Please help me smoke. Help me smoke. Just one more cigarette. Oh, I wanna smoke one more cigarette with you, baby.
.9
WBTM FM.